This time when you do, grimace with some kind of a facial expression, some kind of an exaggerated. Remember, you're all going to be made up as clowns. Not too awful exaggerated.
Said I never should mix with the elements in the wood.
The following is a color presentation of WCNY TV, Syracuse.
Only end up as a decadent, subservient, Western imperialistic political puppet one day. I'm a glorious Russian comrade, born a glorious Russian son. I was part of my glorious parents' 5-year plan. I eat glorious Russian salad that's imported from the West and drink glorious Russian vodka when I can.
Good evening. This is rehearsal, a completely unrehearsed rehearsal. A look at people working on theatre before they're really ready for you and I to see what they're doing. Actors, directors, singers and dancers working together to achieve an excellence of performance for our pleasure on their opening night. Tonight we've been invited by the State University of New York in Morrisville to be present as they rehearse the musical Stop the World, I Want to Get Off. The director is Tom Gutchis, so let's join them.
Grandma drives a lorry, though she's 94. And Grandpa does not give a Russian damn.
React to it.
We've got glorious Russian heroes up in glorious Russian space. And the glorious Russian news says one day soon, we live happily ever after on a vast collective farm. Somewhere on the glorious Soviet Russian moon. Oi!
Okay, hold it. Okay, there's no tension in you at all, though, Wanda. You were standing there, kind of like this. Put some tension into it. Make your body rigid. Feel the muscles tightening up. That will make you alert. That will make you alive. Okay, let's do the whole thing again. We'll go right through it this time. Don't be afraid to push that voice. I'm going to start yelling more. Push it, push it, push it. Make everything exaggerative. Don't move like this when you can move like this. Okay, go ahead. From the beginning of that now. Let's do it again. Snap. Snap into it. Exaggerate. Ready? Hit it.
My mother said I never should
Face, eyebrows.
mix
Move
with
'em.
the perceived reactionary elements in the wood.
Mouths, eyebrows, eyes.
If
That's it.
I did, she would say, you'll only end up as a decadent, subservient, Western imperialistic political puppet one day.
Tension.
I'm a glorious Russian comrade, born a glorious Russian son. I was part of my glorious parents' 5-year plan. I I eat glorious Russian salad that's imported from the West and drink glorious Russian vodka when I can. I've got 14 glorious brothers down a glorious Russian mine. I've got 15 glorious sisters and a cat. And a lot of us live together in such glorious Russian bliss in a glorious Soviet Russian colon flat. Father is a glorious
Hold it right there for a minute.
Russian.
When you snap back into it, you've all got to snap at the same time. Not one here, then somebody else catch up. Now, if there's a music cue there for you, listen for it. Okay, let's do the music cue for that. Let's just go back a little bit and work into it. See if you can hear the music cue that's going to tell you to go from this or wherever you are and snap back into it. And when you do it so it hurts, so that it hurts the muscles of your arms. And get those fingers straight and rigid. You see? That gets the blood going. Okay, let's work back into it just a little bit. Just start wherever you can.
I've got 14 glorious brothers down a glorious Russian mine. I've got 15 glorious sisters and a cat. And a lot of us live together in such glorious Russian bliss and a glorious Soviet Russian colon flat. Father is a glorious Russian dust man. Mother drives a glorious Russian tram. Grandma drives a lorry, though she's 94. And Grandpa does not give a Russian damn. We've got glorious Russian heroes up in glorious Russian space, and the glorious Russian news says one day soon we live happily ever after on a vast collective farm somewhere on the glorious Soviet Russian moon. Oi! 1, 2, down! Oi!
Okay, but the end's got to be a lot bigger, you know, not oi. Oi! Staccato, a lot of staccato. Kick these back in. Let's go right into gonna build them out. Okay, kick this back in. Okay, gonna build them out. Let's look sharp. Ready? Okay, go.
Gonna build a mountain from a little hill. Gonna build a mountain. At least I hope I will.
React to it. Don't believe
Gonna
it.
build a mountain. Gonna build it high. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, only know I'm gonna try.
Yeah, yeah.
Gonna build a daydream
Uh-huh.
from a little hope.
Uh-huh.
Gonna push that daydream
Uh-huh.
up the mountain slope.
Uh-huh.
Gonna build a daydream.
Yeah, yeah.
Gonna see it through.
Yeah, yeah.
Gonna build a mountain and a daydream. Gonna make them both come true.
Yeah, yeah.
Build a
Change
heaven
your position, Lance.
from a little hell.
Little hell.
Gonna build a heaven, and I know darn well.
Darn well.
Gonna build my mountain.
Yeah, yeah.
With a lot of care.
Yeah, yeah.
And take my daydream up the mountain. Heaven will be waiting there.
Gonna build a mountain, gonna build it high. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, oh no, I'm gonna try. Yeah, yeah.
When I built that heaven,
Exaggerate it.
as I will someday,
Will someday.
and the Lord sends Gabriel to take me away. Want a fine young son
My young son,
who will take my place.
take my place.
There'll be a son in my heaven on earth with the Lord's grace. Gonna build a heaven from a little hell.
Little hell,
Gonna build a heaven, and I know darn well.
darn well.
Gonna build a mountain
Yeah, yeah.
with a lot of care.
Yeah, yeah.
Take my daydream up the mountain, heaven will be waiting there.
Gonna build a mountain, gonna build it high. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, only know I'm gonna try.
With a fine young son who will take my place. I'll leave a a son in my heaven on earth with a good Lord's grace.
Okay, but Liz, you got to get rid of this, either this movement or this movement. They seem to be the only two that you do. You know, get your hands up and get them moving, big moves. Okay, let's go into once in a lifetime. Okay, set up for that. Come on, move it. This is the reprise we're doing. This is a once in a lifetime reprise. You know where you are?
That's Tipperary and all that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, come on, let's move it. Hip, hip, hooray. Ready? For he's a jolly good fellow? Okay, go.
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a
There's no
jolly...
okay, ready? Go ahead.
No, let's do the speech beforehand.
The election results? Okay, let's do it from the election and work into it. Okay, over here, that make it a little bit easier. Let's do the election results and then move over. Okay, on the floor. Okay, go. Go ahead, Pam. No, you don't need it. You just started. Go ahead. Lean into it.
Here's the news. Today's by-election result in a landslide victory for the opportunist candidate, Mr. Littlechap. Here are the voting figures. Littlechap, opportunist, 999,999. Birch, isolationist, 1 vote.
Hooray! Hurrah! Hooray! Hurrah! Hooray! Hurrah! Hooray! For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow.
Once in my lifetime,
He's a jolly good fellow,
I feel like a giant.
for he's a jolly good fellow.
Hold it. Let's get this movement for he's a jolly good fellow, and it's got to be the same way all the time, with that little swell that uses your whole body. It starts in your toes and moves right up out of your fingertips. Instead of sometimes like this and sometimes like this and like that, it starts in here tight and moves right up through your fingertips all the time, and that swell's going to help Bob. Okay, let's do it again from for he's a jolly good fellow. Right where you are. Ready? Go ahead.
They better start with hooray, hurrah.
Yeah, hooray, hooray. Okay, go ahead.
Hooray! Hurrah! Hooray! Hurrah! Hooray! Hurrah! Hooray! For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow.
For once in my lifetime,
For he's a jolly good fellow,
I feel like a giant.
for he's a jolly good fellow,
Soar like an eagle,
for he's a jolly
as
good
though I
fellow,
had
for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow,
and this is my moment.
for he's a jolly good fellow.
My destiny calls me.
Let's hear from Mr. Littlechap MP. Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray! Hip hip hooray!
Can't believe it.
Just once
I'm
in
sorry,
my
go ahead.
lifetime, my destiny calls me. And though it may be just
React,
once in my lifetime,
Like it.
I've gotta do great things.
Okay, let's do that one again. Bob, you've got to react more to what's going on around you. You can't believe that you've been elected. This is another ladder, another rung on that ladder that you're climbing. And girls, you've got to love it. You've got to love it for him. You've got to love the feeling that he has, especially at the end here, when he's got his once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And you've got to feel it for him, and you can't feel it standing still. You've got to feel it, again, right up through your body. Okay, let's do it from the beginning of that bit. Okay? Get those arms in tighter and swell them, okay? Like that. Okay, do it again. That same spot.
For he's a jolly good fellow.
I'm gonna do hip hip.
Hooray.
Hooray, hurrah. Right. Go ahead.
Hooray! Hurrah! Hooray! Hurrah! Hooray! Hurrah! Hooray! For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow.
For once in my my lifetime.
He's a jolly good fellow.
Stop right there. This line is kind of wandering around when they're not having to do something, and the triangle keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. You don't have to wander around, especially I noticed, Chris, you kind of wandering around. That's good to be that loose. But keep that line, especially when he gets out here, because it's going to give him support. So keep that line as straight as you can. Do your bit. And I don't mean that when you move around that you shouldn't, just move your feet or something. But don't move around so much that you're all over the stage. So keep that line. Let's make a nice sharp point with Bob as the focus. Okay, Chris, you better back it up just a little bit. Okay, now keep that line. At the beginning, you're in a little bit tighter. Now, as the song progresses, you can loosen that up, widen up the spaces a little bit. Okay, now come in a little bit tighter. No, this way, toward each other. Okay, let's take it from the beginning of that bit again. Hooray, hurrah.
Hooray, hurrah, hooray, hurrah, hooray, hurrah, hooray! For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow.
Just once in my lifetime,
For he's a jolly good fellow,
I feel like a giant.
for he's a jolly good fellow,
Soar like an eagle,
for he's a jolly
as
good
though
fellow,
I had
for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow,
and this is my moment.
for he's a jolly good fellow.
My destiny calls me.
Let's hear it from Mr.
Good,
Little
right
Chap.
there. That's all. Okay, Family Feud reprise. Let's go, girls. Okay, quickly. Okay, come on forward just a little bit. Center it up. Go. Ready? Hands out of your pocket, yeah.
I thought that it would rain today, but it didn't. I took my raincoat anyway, but I needn't. We may have local fog tonight and thunder. It may rain cats and dogs, and I shouldn't wonder.
There's no place like home. There's
Okay,
no
hold
place.
it. You gotta come in bigger on that. There's no place like home. Screech it. It's gotta hurt your voice. Okay, Kim, just for tonight, sit right there. And then on the no place like home, jump up, and that'll give you maybe some impetus to have a little bit of excitement there. Okay, now chorus, you've got to be leaning into it, looking at one, and then looking at the other, not knowing who to believe until you get into the nag, nag, nag bits, and then you start nagging them among yourselves. But until that, react to what's going on stage. Okay, take it right from there. You've already walked over. Bob, you begin it. Just as they yeah. Yes.
I thought that it would rain today, but it didn't. I took my raincoat anyway, but I needn't. We might have local fog tonight and thunder. It may rain cats and dogs, and I shouldn't wonder.
Matt.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
When God created man, some several years ago, he smiled upon his handiwork, but little did he know, an atom with no madam is a certainty to grieve. But when the good Lord tumbled it, he lumbered him with Eve.
We'll take it right from there in a minute. When the nag, nag, nags, make them sharper. Nag, 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 nag. Think of a little squirrel or a chipmunk or something. That's nag, 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 real sharp. Okay? Listen to what he's saying about when the good Lord tumbled it, he lumbered it with Eve, and he points to Eve. Some of you may want to agree with that, some of you may not want to agree with that. And that sets the stage for the little nagging that you're going to have among yourselves. Okay, let's take it back a little ways. Well, I might as well take it right from the duet. Okay, go ahead. The duet, right at the beginning. Ready? Hit it.
I knew it would rain today, but it didn't. Can tell that weather
I
when
took
the
my
sky
raincoat
is red,
anyway,
and
but I needn't.
another sunny spell.
We
Why
might have
took your
local
raincoat
fog
when
tonight
you've
and
got that dead
thunder.
red motor car?
It may rain cats and dogs,
today,
and I
help
shouldn't
them
wonder.
coming off.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
When God created man, some several years ago, he smiled upon his handiwork, but little did he know, an atom with no madam is a certainty to grieve. But when the good Lord tumbled it, he lumbered him with Eve. So Adam looked at Eve, and she looked back at him. Why don't you let them talk, my lord, said some bright cherubim. So God gave them the power of speech, which makes a man a prince. But women, I regret to say, have not stopped talking since.
Very funny.
Oh, why aren't you laughing?
I have nothing to laugh at.
Oh no, you should be standing here.
When you go off to work and leave me on my own to scrimp and save and work and slave and spend the day alone, you never think of calling me to ask me how I am. You always say you're busy, but you just don't give a damn. When you go off abroad to Paris and to Rome, I wonder what the business is that you can't do at home. It's no use telling me that I would never understand. I bet you anything you like. It's something underhand.
My wife's voice is a symphony of love. When she speaks, I hear violins from above. My wife's voice is a melody from the sweetest nightingale's throat. My wife's voice is a symphony.
And I hate every bloody note. My wife's voice is a symphony of love.
Stop calling me
Except remember, when you come down off of the risers, you've got to line up so that you're in the center. So you're all off to that one side again. And probably the reason for that is because when you come down off that riser, Bob, you're right in front. So they feel they've got to come over to you. So you're going to have to lead on that so that when you begin this final bit, you take a step over to dress that stage. Let's take it from where you go to do that part. Go ahead. When you come down off of the riser. Just come down a step.
Just a step.
Just a step. And then the rest of you can come down. Make sure you're center. You'll line up on Kim. Kim is directly center in this scene. Okay, go ahead.
My wife's voice is a symphony of love. When she speaks, I hear violins from above. My wife's voice is a melody from the sweetest nightingale's throat. My wife's voice is a symphony.
And I hate every bloody note.
My wife's voice is a symphony of love.
Just for a change of pace, let's you do something with Bob and Leslie. Let's do Mal Yankee, Mal Cheek. Just for a change of pace, okay? We'll give the chorus a break on that. Do it up here. Do it right here. Okay, let's do it. Take it from do you like children? That'd be a good place to start. Okay, do you like children? Go ahead.
Do you like children?
Yes, I think every man should have a son.
One day, I should like to have a malenki dvorchka and a malenki malchik of my own.
Wouldn't you rather have children?
They are children. Malenki dvorchka is a little girl. Malenki malchik is a little boy.
Malyenki
Malchik.
Malchik. Malyenki Malchik.
Da. First say malenki. That means a little. Then you say malchik. That means a boy. I'd like my own little
Hey, Leslie,
malenki
let's hold it right
malchik.
there for a minute. Can you make this a little bit prettier? Okay, just a little bit prettier.
Okay.
Take it from just the song, the beginning of the song, and to make it a little bit prettier. Go ahead.
I'd like malenki. That means a little. I'd like a malchik. That means a boy.
Big reaction.
I'd like my own little malenki malchik. That's how in Russia we say little boy.
Can I have a go?
Da. First say
Malyenki.
that means.
A little.
Then you say
Malchik.
that means.
A boy.
Now both together say
Malyenki Malchik.
da. That's how in Russia we say little boy.
I've always been good at languages.
Moscow to Rostov and Rostov to Kiev. Boys you can see every day of your life. Some may be small boys, some may be tall boys. Something makes all boys the pride of each man and wife.
Okay, stop right there. Bob, as she begins singing about the boys, begin to think about your own son that you don't have, and gradually get more interested, and more interested, and more interested, until finally it's all you can do to even contain yourself. Okay? Go ahead. Start, I don't know from where. Moscow to Rostov?
Moscow to Rostov and Rostov to Kiev. Boys you can see every day
Boys,
of your
I see.
life.
My son.
Some may be small boys,
See
some
'em,
may
Bob.
be tall boys.
See 'em growing.
Something makes
Fingers
all boys
spread.
the pride of each man and wife. I'd like my Yankee.
Dream,
That
Bob.
means
See
a
'em.
little. I'd like a malchik. That means a boy. I'd like my own little malenki malchik. That's how in Russia we say little boy.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Malyenki Malchik, though he'd be little, he'd be my Malchik, he'd be my joy. Smiling that smile, little Malyenki Malchik, I'd be so proud of my own little boy. Smiling that smile cheek, all of the wild cheek.
Break your fingers.
Malyenki Malchik, how precious he'd be. He would beguile me, my Malyenki Malchik. This juvenile cheek would be the whole
Too
world.
much of this kind of movement. Try something else.
I'd like Malyenki,
Palms down.
that means a
That's
little.
it.
I'd like a Malchik, that means a boy. I'd like my own little Malyenki Malchik. He'd make me happy, my own little chappy. My Malyenki Malchik, my own little boy.
See him, Bob. See him. Okay, sit down. And a big sigh.
Well, Tom Gutchis and his drama department students from the State University of New York in Morrisville will be working for some time yet, I suspect, but that's where we have to leave them. Next week, the Wells College Drama Department have invited us to watch their rehearsal of Trojan Women. Join me then, won't you? Till next week, I'm Kerry Reed. Bye for now.
Moscow to Rostov and Rostov to Kiev. Boys you can see every day of your life. Some may be small boys, some some may be tall boys. Something makes all boys the pride of each man and wife. I'd like my Yankee, that means a little. I'd like a mild cheek, that means a boy. I'd like my own little mal Yankee mal cheek. That's how in Russia we say little boy.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J.
This has been a color presentation of WCNY TV, Syracuse.
About chance. Now let's go to Hollywood. Because someone got careless with fire. So please, be careful with fire. Oranges are for eating, kid, not for juggling. Besides, your act's got no style.
Are you? Give me a tea. Bring the alphabet easy. Have a good breakfast, Blob.
Don't need it. I'm gonna scare Sugar Bear.
Everybody needs good breakfast, Blob.
Join William Shatner on Star Trek, weekdays at 5 on... Because McDonald's has something Dad can really sink his teeth into. Something big.
Effective anti-pollution programs going. That new scouting merit badges include environmental science, atomic...
Your gift to Easter Seals is needed now for children and for handicapped adults.
He needs to be a critical listener. We can help. We're the New York State Speech Association. For information, write to New York State Speech Association, Box 1973, Morrisville, New York, 13408.
What is it that the gentlemen wish? What would they have? Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty or give me death.
Fourscore-and-7 years ago, our fathers brought forth upon this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty and dedicated.
We do not retreat. We are not content to stand still. As Americans, we go forward in the service of our country by the will of God.
Thus, for the third time, does Franklin Delano Roosevelt...
I do not believe that any of us would exchange places with any other people or any other generation. The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world. And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
Give me the right word and the right accent in which to say it, and I can move the world. Give me the right word and the right accent in which to say it, and I can move the world.